All right, good morning. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com and the Weimer Report. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is CoachBigPete, fp@gmail.com if you have any other questions. And quick reminder, Deep Dish Football Live is Wednesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Also, Breakfast with Coach Big Pete is at 9 a.m. And also another quick reminder, next week is Deep Dish Football Road Trip, and I will be going to Rochester versus Glenwood Chatham. It should be a great game. So let's get started. Week 8. I know it's a little bit early right now. A little bit early. I usually do it on Thursday, but I'm going to do it on Wednesday. Instead, Week 8, IHSA Football. And please, if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal, as the PayPal link is on the bottom. Thank you so much. All right, let's get started. Lake Forest at Hebron, Eldon Hebron, 8-man football. I'm going to go with Hebron. By the way, quick reminder for you guys. Chicago Tribune did a great article on Hebron about small school football and 8-man football. You definitely should check it out. Wonderful article. All right. Effingham at Mattoon. I really do think this is going to be a good game. Mattoon had a loss, I think it was last week, so it's going to be a good game. Effingham and Mattoon, definitely a team definitely a game that you want to check out for. Dixon at Winnebago, good game in the Big Northern Conference. As I go down, by the way, I forgot. IHSA.org for all the games. Be sure you check it out. Bloomington at Peoria, another good game. Nope. El Dorado at Fairfield is always a good game. Definitely a thing that you want to check out in the Black Diamond Conference, as just being a good game. Columbia lost their first game last week. Check it out. Red Bud at Columbia. Trenton Westglen versus Breeze Central, good game as well. Also, keep an eye out for Salem Freeburg. Salem's looking good this year. Salem's looking really good this year. Very impressed with Salem so far. Oh, Pasco at Shelbyville. Shelbyville has a losing record, yes, but still interesting game to keep an eye out for. Very surprising. Not that much going on in the Central State 8. Very surprised by that. No. Highland Park at Maine and West is a good game. Keep an eye out for that one. New Trier Maine South is a huge game. Really like New Trier this season, as you guys have heard. Maine South is back on the track. It's Maine South. What do you expect? I think it's going to be a good game. I really do think Maine South is going to do some damage when we get into the playoffs. I really do think, though, a lot of the media outlets are overrating them a little bit. Maine South's a great team, don't get me mistaken, but there's a lot of better teams. Just saying about that. Montini at Providence Catholic is a good game. Chicago Hope at St. Joseph is always a good game. Definitely a small school Catholic, Chicago Catholic red game to look out as always for. Just looking across. St. Charles East at Wayne North's a good game. St. Charles North at Batavia, huge game. St. Charles North at Batavia, yeah, definitely a huge game to look out for. Wayne Warrenville South, Glenbar North. I want to see what Wayne Warrenville South still got. They just clinched the playoffs. See if it's not a letdown this week, as always. Waubonsee Valley and Naperville Central, big game as well. St. Patrick at St. Viator. St. Patrick needs a win in this after a loss to St. Niles Notre Dame. Julia Catholic at Nazareth Academy is a big game. Big game for Julia Catholic. Big game for Nazareth Academy. After a loss to Marist, they got to come back and get it. They have to come back strong, basically. Marist versus Woodstock. Marion Central, Marion Woodstock Catholic again. Marist big win. This is a great letdown game, and Marion could Woodstock can basically upset them. So definitely a thing to watch out for. All right, Cary Grove versus Prairie Ridge is a huge game. One of the bigger games in the state of Illinois. Definitely a game to look out for. Crystal Lake South versus Jacobs. Crystal Lake South needs this win. Jacobs has been under the weather. Dundee Crown needs a big win at Hampshire. Illinois Prairie. Pontiac at St. Thomas More is a good game. Prairie Central at Monticello is a huge game. Definitely a huge game. That's a big game to look out for. Burlington Central at Marengo is a huge game. Marengo is looking great. Woodstock versus Woodstock North, big rivalry game. Newton and Only is a good game to look out for as well, especially with they're both the running attacks. Wayne St. Francis at IC is a huge game that you have to keep an eye out for. In the Metro Suburban Blues, St. Francis just clinched the playoffs. Coach McMillan's got that program looking great. Definitely a game to look out for. St. Francis at IC. Chicago Christian at Elmwood Park is definitely a huge game. With Chicago Christian and Elmwood Park, both teams trying to chase the playoffs. Dunlap at Canton, good game. Washington at Metamora is a huge game. That's a huge game. You got Metamora, who's on fire, who's looking good, and especially in that program's history against Washington. So it's definitely one of the top games in the state of Illinois. So Hersey versus Rolling Meadows is a huge game. When I say that, I mean really huge. Hersey, unbelievable. Rolling Meadows, unbelievable. I think both are undefeated. Rolling Meadows, great offense, great defensive line. Hersey, great group of wide receivers, great defensive backs. It's going to be a slugfest. Hersey versus Rolling Meadows is definitely one of the top games in the state of Illinois. Nope. Jerseyville at Civic Memorial's a game I'm keeping an eye out for. Stevenson versus Warren Township is a huge game, as always. Mundelein, no. Rockford Christian at Ottawa Marquette's a great game as well. Was voted, it was like third game, deep dish football game of the week. Definitely a game to keep an eye out for. Harlem versus Rockford Auburn, that's a good game. Morris at Kalen's a good game. Yorkville at the Calb's a good game. Yorkville at the Calb is one of the best games in the state of Illinois. Literally, the Northern Illinois Big 12 East Division is giving us pure gold every week. Every week. The Northern Illinois Big 12 East is giving us great games every week. They do. It's just impressive. Lakes at Antioch. That's a huge game. Big game in the state of Illinois. Definitely a game that a lot of people should be talking about. Stockton at Freeport Aquin. Interesting game. Equin definitely needs a win. EPC versus Dakota's another good game. West Carroll at Forston's another good game. And UIC. And UIC's, they always have good games. Big shout out to Kyle and Shin. They got good games. They got a lot of good games going on. Pleasant Plains and New Berlin for the Sagamore Conference. Good game. Very good game. Especially with that Pleasant Plains offensive attack and those two-way athletes that they have for Pleasant Plains. Definitely a thing the team to be interested in. Carlinville. Carlinville's a team to keep an eye out for. Yeah, definitely Carlinville. Hillsboro, too, as well. Carbondale at Marion's a great game. That's a huge game. Carbondale's looking great this year. They're looking really good. Just stacked with athletes. It's unbelievable. Centralia is looking good for next year. I'm telling you that right now. Keep an eye out for Centralia next year. Foreign Factional South versus at Lamont's a good game as well. Definitely a huge game for Foreign Factional South. Definitely a huge game for Lamont. Lamont needs this win. Young group next year, it's going to be their year. DuQuinn and Nashville, that's a nice game. Interesting game as well. Nope. Kankakee at Crete-Monee is a rivalry game. Be a very interesting game. I like rivalry games because no matter what the win or loss record, guess what? It's going to be it's going to be an entertaining game, and I think that's what's the most important thing. Manuka Juliet West, that's a good game. That's a good rivalry game too. So definitely a game to look out for. Plainfield South, Plainfield North, good game as well. Andrew at home at Flossmoor. It's an interesting game in the Southwest Suburban. O'Fallon at East St. Louis, good game. Belleville West is a huge game against Edwardsville. Hopefully I didn't get the wrong at Belleville that I've done before. That's my fault. Bureau Valley at Orion, good game. Central Newman Central Catholic at Fulton should be a good game, but Central Catholic are on top. Deep Dish Football Game of the Week overtime. Bartlett at South Elgin is a great game, and I'm happy I picked that game. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it's looking to be a great game. Glenbard East versus Glenbard South. That's a huge game. Good rivalry game. Willowbrook provides always. OPRF. Oh, that's a huge game. OPRF at Glenbard West. That's a great game. Big game to look out for as the hitters take on OPRF. OPRF was looking to win this game. It's a good rivalry game. I like the OPRF players. Good group of athletes. Glenbard West, Ty Quinn Cox he's just tearing things up for Glenbard West and at offensive line as well. So it should be interesting. It could be a really big game. Let's see who else. Nope. Deep Dish Football Game of the Week is Lyle versus Sandwich. That's going to be a fun game, exciting game. Sandwich needs to win this game and beat Reed Custer to have a chance at the playoffs. Lyle's undefeated. They are looking great this season. Coach Parpet's got them going like nobody's business. Simple as that. Smash mouth type of offense that Parpet has always run. Discipline, smash mouth football. That's what Parpet runs, and he is doing a great job of it. Downers Grove South and Downers Grove North. Huge game. Big rivalry game, especially being out from the area, especially from Westmont. That's a game that everyone likes to talk about. So it should be interesting, especially when you have more Downers Grove North with a new young coach. There's going to be more life breathed into that rivalry game. Hopefully I did not mispronounce it. Huntley Naperville North's a great game. Definitely a huge game. I'm liking some of these non-conference games. And Naperville North versus Huntley is a great game. Granite City at Alton is a very challenging game. Definitely a game to keep an eye out for. Mantino at Piatone. I know Mantino's not doing that well, but it's a good rivalry game to look at. Plano at Herscher. Good game as well. Good game as well. Nope. A lot of out-of-state games as usual. Now you know why they're talking about district football. Streeter at Wilmington, that's a good game as well. Sycamore Geneseo, that's a good game as well. Westmont at Warren, my hometown team, taking on Warren. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Winchester, Bairdstown. Bairdstown's definitely a team to keep an eye out for in that Western Illinois area. They are doing a great job. Richmond Burden at Macomb. Ooh, interesting game. Quincy Notre Dame at Charleston. Quincy Notre Dame definitely needs a win. And that is about it. Oh, Lockport's taking on Peoria Notre Dame. That's a very interesting game. Oh, I like that game. That's a good game. Some interesting games. There are some interesting games mixing from the western, central Illinois areas up north. I like it. I really do like it. I really am impressed with the Huntley at Naperville North game. I think that's a great game. I think it's a smart move to schedule that game. Athletic director is making a good decision. Now, make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpete@gmail.com. Quick reminder, Deep Dish Football Live is Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete, 9 a.m. on Saturday. Also, feel free to leave a tip if you like my work via PayPal on the bottom of the section via the PayPal link. Thank you guys so much. Please enjoy the day.